Welcome back, deep divers. Ready to explore another fascinating corner of Earth's history?
Always.
Today, we're going way back. I mean, really, way back.
For the dinosaurs?
Oh, way before the dinosaurs. We're talking about a period called the Ediacaran.
Ah, the Ediacaran.
Hmm.
Between 635 and 541 million years ago, a truly pivotal chapter in the history of life.
It's like the prequel to the famous Cambrian Explosion.
You could say that. We're talking about the very first appearance of complex organisms.
And that brings us to our star of the show, Dickinsonia.
Quite a character, that one.
Right. This thing was bizarre. Flat, sometimes absolutely huge. We're talking over a meter long in some cases.
Hard to imagine what they must have looked like on the ancient seafloor.
Totally. And for decades, scientists have been scratching their heads trying to figure out, what was this thing?
It's been a real puzzle. Plant, animal, giant amoeba. Nobody could quite agree.
Yeah, even basic stuff like, did it have symmetry? How did it eat? It was all up for debate.
The Ediacaran fossils are notoriously difficult to study. Mostly soft-bodied organisms.
So not your typical bones and teeth that fossilize easily.
Exactly. They didn't leave behind the kind of clear, well-defined remains that paleontologists are used to.
So how do you even begin to piece together what these creatures were like?
It's a challenge, that's for sure. Traditional methods of studying fossils, like looking at their shape, how they were preserved,
Yeah.
it wasn't giving us clear answers with these Ediacaran
It
guys.
sounds like a real scientific detective story.
Yeah.
So who was the Sherlock Holmes of this case? Who cracked the code?
That would be a PhD student named Ilya Bobrovsky. He had this, well, let's call it a radical idea.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did he do? Reinvent the magnifying glass?
He went to the White Sea in Russia,
Mhm.
one of the best places in the world for well-preserved Ediacaran fossils, rappelled down cliffs to collect pristine Dickinsonia specimens.
Sounds adventurous. Okay, and then what?
And then he did something pretty unexpected.
He ate it?
No, he crushed them up.
Wait, he took these incredibly rare ancient fossils and ground them into dust.
Pretty much. But it was all part of a brilliant plan.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. What was the plan?
Bobrovsky was after something called molecular fossils. He wanted to analyze the ancient molecules preserved within these fossils.
Fascinating. So what kind of molecules are we talking about here?
Specifically, he was looking for steroids.
Steroids, like the things athletes get lusted for. What do steroids have to do with ancient fossils?
Good question. Now, when we say steroids in this context, we're not talking about performance enhancement. Steroids are actually a broad class of organic compounds found in all sorts of organisms. They're important parts of hormones, cell membranes, even vitamins.
Okay, so steroids are everywhere. But how does that help us understand what Dickinsonia was?
The key is that different types of organisms produce different types of steroids.
Ah, so it's like a chemical fingerprint. Tell me more.
Animals, for example, are known for producing cholesterol.
The stuff that clogs our arteries.
The very same. Plants and algae, on the other hand, they make different types of steroids. So by analyzing the types of steroids present in a fossil, you can get clues about what kind of organism it was.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's like a molecular time machine, taking us back to the Ediacaran and revealing the secrets of these ancient organisms.
It's a powerful tool for understanding early life.
So what did the steroids reveal about our friend Dickinsonia? Was it a plant? An algae? A giant amoeba? Or something else entirely?
Well, Bobrovsky's analysis delivered a pretty stunning result.
Don't leave me hanging. What did he find?
The Dickinsonia fossils were loaded with cholesterol, far more than the surrounding sediment.
Cholesterol. So that means...
It means Dickinsonia was an animal.
Wow. No more debate. We finally have an answer.
The evidence is pretty conclusive.
This changes everything. So Dickinsonia wasn't just some weird blob. It was a complex animal living millions of years before the Cambrian Explosion.
Exactly. It completely rewrites our understanding of the timeline of animal evolution. Before this, scientists thought that.
Yeah. Wow, talk about rewriting the textbooks. So we now know that Dickinsonia was an animal, but that just leads to, like, a million more questions, right? Like, how did this thing eat? I mean, it doesn't exactly have a mouth that we can see, does it?
That's one of the big mysteries that still surround Dickinsonia. Scientists are still trying to piece together how it got its nutrients.
It's like a giant pancake with no mouth. How do you even start to figure that out?
Well, there are some theories, of course.
Yeah.
Some scientists think it might have absorbed nutrients directly from the seafloor, kind of like a giant flat sponge.
So it was just chilling on the seabed, soaking up nutrients. That's one way to live, I guess.
It's a possibility. Another idea is that it grazed on microbial mats.
Microbial mats, what are those?
There were like these vast communities of microorganisms that covered the ancient seafloor. sort of like a living carpet.
So picture Dickinsonia slowly sliding along this microbial buffet, munching away.
It's a vivid image,
Mm.
and it's certainly a plausible scenario.
But hold on, if it was grazing, how did it move around? Did it have legs? Fins?
Another great question. Unfortunately, the fossil record isn't much help there. Dickinsonia didn't leave behind any clear traces of limbs or appendages.
So we're back to square one. No clue how this giant pancake moved.
Not quite. There are some intriguing possibilities. Some scientists believe it might have moved by contracting its muscles, kind of like a very slow motion crawl.
I'm trying to picture that. A giant pancake slowly inching across the seafloor.
It might have also used tiny hair-like structures called cilia to propel itself.
Cilia, like little microscopic oars.
Exactly. So imagine a coordinated beating of millions of these tiny cilia propelling Dickinsonia along the seafloor.
Okay, I can always see it. But, there's this big question looming over our discussion.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
What happened to Dickinsonia?
It's the million-dollar question.
1 minute they're here, the next they're gone. Poof. Vanished.
Well, it wasn't quite that sudden. But yes, Dickinsonia, along with many other Ediacaran life forms, disappeared at the start of the Cambrian period.
So what happened? Was there some kind of mass extinction event? A giant asteroid? A volcanic eruption?
It's a bit more complicated than that.
Mm.
There were probably a number of factors that contributed to their decline. One of the leading theories is that the rise of predators during the Cambrian played a major role.
Ah, the Cambrian Explosion. That was when all sorts of new and more complex creatures appeared on the scene, right? Including, things with teeth.
Exactly. Suddenly, the Ediacaran organisms were faced with a whole new set of challenges.
It's like going from a peaceful meadow to a jungle filled with tigers and lions. You gotta adapt or you're toast.
That's a good analogy. Dickinsonia and its Ediacaran neighbors may simply not have been equipped to survive in this new, more competitive environment.
So they couldn't handle the heat, so to speak. But couldn't environmental changes have also played a role?
Absolutely. The Cambrian period was a time of major upheaval on Earth. Ocean chemistry changed, temperatures fluctuated, sea levels rose and fell.
So it was kind of a perfect storm, a combination of predators, a changing environment, maybe other things we haven't even discovered yet.
It's likely a complex interplay of factors. And it's a reminder that extinction is a natural part of the evolutionary process.
It's kind of sad to think about these strange and wonderful creatures disappearing, but I guess it's also a testament to the incredible resilience of life.
Indeed. The story of life on Earth is a story of constant change, adaptation, and renewal.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from Dickinsonia's bizarre body plan to its mysterious demise, but there's still so much more to explore.
There always is. The study of the Ediacaran biota offers a tantalizing glimpse into the early chapters of life's epic saga.
And speaking of chapters, I think it's time to take a break and reflect on what we've learned. Then we can dive into some of the broader implications of Bobrovsky's work and what it means for our understanding of evolution.
Sounds like a plan. Let's take a moment to absorb all this amazing information.
Thinking about this whole Dickinsonia story, one thing that really struck me is the sheer audacity of it all.
Audacity.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine being Ilya Bobrovsky? You've got these incredibly rare fossils, right? Some of the oldest on Earth.
Precious, delicate specimens.
Exactly. And what does he do? He decides to crush them up.
Well, he did have a good reason.
I know. It was brilliant. But still, can you imagine the reaction from other paleontologists? You did what?
I'm sure there were a few raised eyebrows.
I bet. But it's a perfect example of how sometimes, to make a big discovery, you got to think outside the box.
Sometimes the old methods just won't cut it.
Right. It's like, forget the magnifying glass, I need a mass spectrometer. And that leap of faith, it led to this huge breakthrough.
It revolutionized our understanding of early animal evolution.
And it wouldn't have been possible without all these advancements in other fields, right?
Yeah.
Molecular biology, analytical chemistry.
Science is all about making connections, building on knowledge from different disciplines.
Totally. And you know what else is fascinating about this story? The role of serendipity.
Serendipity.
Yeah, Bobrovsky wasn't even trying to figure out what Dickinsonia was.
No, his research was focused on the environmental conditions of the Ediacaran.
Right. He was analyzing these steroid molecules to learn about the ancient oceans. And bam! He stumbles upon this massive clue about the nature of Dickinsonia.
A classic case of scientific discovery happening in unexpected ways.
It makes you wonder how many other secrets are hidden in the fossil record, just waiting for the right technique or the right set of eyes to find them.
Oh, I'm sure there are countless discoveries yet to be made.
It's humbling, right? This Ediacaran world, it's this vast, mysterious chapter of Earth's history.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
We talked about Dickinsonia's possible feeding habits, how it might have moved around,
But these are still very much open questions.
and the ultimate fate of the Ediacaran fauna, why they vanished.
That's a debate that continues to this day.
It's all part of the scientific process, right? Asking questions, searching for answers, refining our understanding of the world around us.
Absolutely. It's a never-ending journey of exploration.
And sometimes the most incredible discoveries come from challenging our assumptions, venturing into uncharted territory.
Who knows what other wonders are out there waiting to be unveiled?
That's what makes paleontology so exciting. And that's a wrap for our deep dive into the Ediacaran. We hope you enjoyed the journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ancient mysteries with you.
And who knows, maybe our conversation today will inspire the next generation of paleontologists to uncover even more secrets about the fascinating history of life on Earth.